Richard Disc and Kenny's big old hay. Put 'em up on eBay for the day was done. Watch the bids roll in till the morning sun. That old crochet blanket my grandma once made, I thought was just tacky, now it's well displayed. Some feller in Kansas paid 110 for a piece of my past I'll not see again. Oh, eBay.
Welcome everyone to the video. Welcome to the channel. This video will be on Tuesday. We're going to do some what solds. We're going to get 5 cool, unique, interesting. If it's something like out of the ordinary, like a hat that goes for a crazy amount of money, or not, I shouldn't say crazy amount of money, but above average. Anything unusual, there will be a DVD. I think there's a DVD box set in this one. And DVDs typically, really aren't worth it unless you can get it for like a really good price. And by really good price, I mean pennies on the dollar. So, because typically most media is, not really worth it, even at $1 or $2. You really have to get it incredibly cheap to make it worth it. And you got to process a lot of it. But there are some big hits in there, just like every other category. There are big hits, and there was one that I found at the bins. Now, the bins, I have been spending a lot of time at the bins, trying to get a sense, of what it's going to be like on each and every day. It's very, very new. So, it's trying to see the patterns as far as, who's there, as far as, what days do they bring out? Are they constantly rotating stuff? What days have good items? What days don't have good items? So I'm still getting a sense of that. I'm going to go tomorrow that'll be Tuesday for me, because one of the employees there had told me that the past Tuesday was really quiet and nice for, as an employee. Obviously, when you're working, you want a nice, easy, quiet day. And that was Tuesday. So I'm going to go check it out on Tuesday and see what it's like. Try to get a schedule going here to figure out when's going to be the best. Otherwise, well, so far, every day I've been on has been incredibly good. We were there this past weekend, and we just popped in for about an hour really quick. We're going to go out to eat. And I got this charger, which I think I may or may not have featured it here. It's a stand charger for an iPad Pro. It already sold for $50. I found it there at the bins. Then I pulled out a Toomey, which was in immaculate condition. I was surprised. I didn't film any of it. It was just going with the family, kind of hang out. Like I said, it's a family affair. Everybody, I get to thrift, throughout the week, and my wife doesn't, and so whenever they get the opportunity, my wife, my daughter, my son, whenever they get the opportunity to join me, they jump on it. So, and then typically, I'm a family, and I don't know, I just don't. Yeah, I didn't feel like filming that day, and I already have plenty of content, so I didn't need anything really. But either way, I pulled out a Toomey bag. We got some shoes. My son got some shoes out of there, so he's reselling shoes. And it was just, it's like, at first it started out kind of slow, and then all of a sudden we started finding these items. I was like, all right, every single day I've gone, I don't know if it's because it's brand new. I get the feeling that it's probably just the area that I'm in. I see all the stuff that's going to end up there. And I was talking with the manager, a Goodwill manager, and so he had told me that, so the items will last on the Goodwill shelves at all the local Goodwill shelves for 3 weeks. And then if they hadn't sold, boom, they're going straight to that bins location. And it's going to help them churn inventory because they get so much. And he was telling me we just have so much inventory. A huge, something's in my eye. They just have a huge influx of inventory that they just keep stuffing the shelves, and there's obviously only so much room in stores. They can only open up so much retail stores, which might not even help the situation. And so they really needed an outlet or bins location to help, obviously help them make more money for their cause, and not have to just dump all that inventory. They have so much inventory that in the past, I've been offered inventory before it goes off to their online store or to sell online because they just get so much of it. So, thrift stores aren't going anywhere. Trust me, no matter what anybody says out there, no matter what you hear out there in the world, it's only to grab headlines. I talked about ads and people trying to capture your attention and everything, and that's what it's all about. They want to shock and awe you, so that way you click on video. Same. Yeah, what we call uh clickbait. Try to get you to click on it, and then they're going to tell you, something like thrift stores are over, thrift stores are dead. You can't, reselling is dead, eBay's over, or whatever. I'm leaving the platform, leaving this platform, joining that platform. So it's all just, nothing's really going anywhere. Things evolve, things change, the tools change. So, but this, I with the outlet being there and everything I'm pulling out of the outlet, like, wow, I haven't had to go to the flea market or anything like that, which means no early mornings, which is kind of good because I've been working out more in the morning, so I've been using that time just as me time, I guess, is what you would call it. Uh, what else? What else? So yeah, so I'm gonna scope out the bins tomorrow on Tuesday, see what it's like. My next what's sold video, I was talking to my wife, and I'm thinking I might do some like on location or in a different location. And we were driving by this past weekend, the Rose Garden over here in San Jose, and I was thinking that would make a pretty cool backdrop for a video. But like, what can I do with that? I mean, I can't. There's no thrifting at the Rose. I mean, at the Rose Garden, you could do an intro at the Rose Garden, but it would seem kind of a waste of time or a waste of video. So, I think for my next what's sold video, I'll do it at the Rose Garden too. There's flying around here, but because it's pretty cool, showcase parts of the city, and we were just driving by over there. We're heading to a mall called Valley Fair, and so I like to go. If you're familiar with the area, the typical freeway you would take out there is 880. And it's not my preferred way, or my preferred freeway. It's usually pretty crazy, but I usually like to come, I like to go through, not really downtown. It's more towards the airport, and take that road towards Valley Fair. And to get to there, you got to drive through the Rose Garden area. And I was driving through there, and obviously it's springtime. It's everything's in bloom. So either way, I want to showcase it. So I'll probably do in my next video. You'll see me on location. My next what's sold video, which will be Thursday. It'll be on location at the San Jose Rose Garden, and we'll do some what solds from there. Obviously, I'll have to do a little more editing with that. So stay tuned. Otherwise, let's get into the what sold. Kind of look behind my microphone. Okay. So these are pretty cool. These Harper Trophy. I found a bunch of these, and they were all brand new. And brand new is probably what you want to pick them up as. I probably wouldn't pick these up if they were used. And brand new, they go for right around $20 each. So it's a book, a CD, Harper Trophy. Keep her out for them. I think this is my last one or my second to last one that I found, but they're all sell for right around $20. So pretty cool, easy to ship, easy to store. They went inside one of my padded poly bags, just my standard size, which is, I think it's 9.25 by 14. I think I have to double check, but it's a pretty standard size of bubble mailer. One thing to keep in mind when you are buying bubble mailers is the dimensions they give you are usually the outside dimensions. There's an outside dimension, there's an inside dimension. So just be aware of that when you are purchasing the appropriate size for the items that you want to sell. But definitely keep your eye out for Harper Trophy. There is something flying around in here. It is a moth or something. I keep seeing it. Oh, well, actually, it would be in this area. It's kind of annoying me, but I'll take care of that after I'm done. Hopefully it doesn't fly into my face. But Harper Trophy, Keep your eye out for them. They do incredibly well. They sell incredibly well, right around $20. Did I say what they exactly sold for? 19.25 and $6.84 to what they paid in shipping. This was an interesting find because it's kind of cool. I mean, it's a sandwich. When I first saw it, I thought it was a hamburger, but it's actually a sandwich. And it's Hellman's mayonnaise. I didn't put mayonnaise in the actual title because you know, I mean, obviously there's probably mayonnaise. Mayonnaise is featured as one of the plush sections there, but I wanted to put all the other words in there, and I thought it was cool enough. There was no sell-through rate, nothing like that. There was none other listed. I couldn't find anything on it at all, but I thought it'd be worth it, and sure enough, it was. Hellman sandwich, plush, bread, cold cuts, condiment, food, stuffed animal, toy. That's a mouthful. Um, and what did it sell for? $30. So $30 for this plush. You know, that's definitely well above average for plush. $8.99 is what they paid in shipping, and this went inside a non-padded poly bag. So really, really cool. Definitely keep your eye out for cool, unique plush. Obviously, this is all, and I talk about this all the time, is about subject matter. The subject matter. You know, that's what got this sold. It wasn't necessarily um the name brand, because it's just Hellman's, you know, mayonnaise. I mean, if I don't know, I wouldn't pick up Hellman's. I don't know. I don't know. Do they make other plush? I have no idea. It's the first ever plush I've come by with like this, and the only one I've ever seen, and the only one I could find online was mine. So, it was one I listed. So I was like, all right, cool. Let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can get for it. So I priced it around $40, took an offer of 30. And I figured that was pretty fair, and probably, I mean, I wish I would have gone for 40, but we're still making some great money on it and great profit on it, and it sold really, really fast. So really cool item. Definitely keep your eye out for these cool, unique things. I mean, I really wouldn't recommend, like, if you find a Heinz one, you know, that might be, you know, there might be more Heinz than anything, but definitely cool, unique, interesting. It's a lot of it's subject matter. A lot of it is, you know, my knowledge of reselling, you know, well over 20 years of doing this, that I've developed these skills to be able to identify items that you can resell that have really no history of reselling at all. So no history in the reselling or selling anything for that matter. So I couldn't even find this retail. This is Bath and Body Works, and I've talked about Bath and Body Works candle holders before. I don't think I've ever featured one of these. But this is a wallflower. So you put your little oil, the oil that you want to diffuse, you put it in the back of this one, and obviously has a cool, unique design. The actual like design material is called terrazzo, so it's like a ceramic, and there's usually like some other types of stones or anything in it, just like this, just like what you're seeing there. So keep your eye out for these ones. I wouldn't pick them all up. I wouldn't say all Bath and Body Works do really well. I would stick to ones like this, which are kind of cool, unique. But this one has a bit of a weight to it as well too. I would stick to the holidays. The holidays do really well as far as wallflowers and candle holders. Bath and Body Works does some pretty unique, cool candle holders for the holidays, and they're usually just for that year, and that is it. So if you find any out there, definitely pick them up. There was a really, really cool haunted house. It was $300, and I wasn't about to spend $300 on a candle holder. So I am on the hunt for that, and if I find it out there, I'm going to buy it for myself. So Bath and Body Works, even the candles. Oh, okay. So this one I found at the bins, and this DVD set. Oh, the candle, the warmer went in a 6x6x6 box. I was gonna put it inside a poly mailer, but I don't know. I just got a bad feeling about it, so I was like, I'll put it in a box. So I put it in a box. Wait, I didn't even tell you what it sold for. Hold on, go back. $16 is what it sold for, and $6.84 is what they paid in shipping. So I almost breezed right over that. Okay. No, let's go back to. Okay, so this was the bins find. This one I found at the bins. Now, what's so far what I've noticed at the bins is you'll hear a lot of people talk about the t-shirt bros, and those are the people that go through looking for all the vintage clothing. And usually they're dudes, guys. And they'll go through and they'll start going through all the clothing, in a big old group looking for, vintage tees, vintage clothing, whatever. Well, I've noticed there's not t-shirt bros, but media bros have been there at the bins. About 5 or 6 of them there hanging out, and they're just going through media. They're going through books, they're going through CDs, albums, DVDs, games as well too. They'll fill up their carts and then just start going through them, scanning them. So they had already gone through everything, and they were off on the walls, checking all their finds. And I went over there to go take a look. I was more looking for myself to see if I see anything that I'd be interested in. And I saw this box set on there, and it's a box set. And I typically do look up most box sets because some of them can have some pretty good value, especially those that are not on any streaming service, and maybe you have to pay to download it. But they aren't like on Netflix or anything like that, or on Hulu or anything. They're not where you pay a monthly fee and you can access that. I don't know. I didn't look to see if this one was on there or not, but nonetheless, $77.62 is what it sold for, a DVD box set. So definitely keep your eye out. The Young Indiana Jones and the Adventures. I never saw this. I'm aware of it, but I never even saw it. Never really paid attention to it. $6.21 is what they bid in shipping. I did because they have a higher value. DVDs, you would use media mail, but because this had a bit of a higher value, I went ahead and wanted to make sure that it would get there in a timely manner, because I know media mail can sometimes take a little while. And I wanted to make sure it got there in a timely manner. And not only that, but I also wanted to make sure it was covered with the insurance that Ground Advantage offers. And so I was like, all right, I'm gonna make sure I do Ground Advantage. So I'm not gonna send it via media mail. But someone within California bought this, so the shipping was relatively low, and I think it's right about what media mail would have been for this item, because it did have a bit of weight to it. Had quite a few CDs in it, 9 CDs. It has some weight. But nonetheless, $77 went in the box. I put it in a box because it's $77. They paid up quite a bit. I put it in a 975 box and wrapped it in bubble wrap. A little bit of bubble wrap. I always wrap in bubble wrap most things, not plush. I definitely don't wash, unless they have like the plastic eyes or something. Then I'll wrap the head, cover it, give it a little more protection. Otherwise, if it's just a plush, their clothing, I just throw it in a poly bag without any other padding or anything like that. But I wanted this to present well upon when the person receives it. So I put it in a box, did a little wrapping job with it, and $77. Pretty cool. Now this one is pretty. This was pretty cool, pretty fun. This thing was heavy. Let me tell you what the shipping was on this. Actually, it went somewhere local, so it wasn't that much. I think this was about 6 pounds, if I remember correctly. $33.22 was sold for. $7.75 is what the shipping charge was. Went in a 975 box. But as you can see, it's a doorstop. It's weighted. It was really heavy. A little turtle. Pretty cool. And that's from Cost Plus. It had a Cost Plus tag on it. And turtle. People like turtles. That's why I picked it up. You don't want to pay too much for it. Pay about $5. I mean, I wouldn't pay more. I wouldn't get close to 10, although there's still money there to be made. I'd pay right around $5 for this type of an item. It did sit for a few months, but it did sell, and I knew it was cool. It had a lot of views, a lot of watchers, and it finally sold. So pretty cool item, and I kind of liked it, and I tend to buy items that I like that appeal to me as well too, not just uh, like silverware. Silverware's so boring, but I do pick it up just because it does sell pretty well, and you can usually get a lot of listings out of a giant bag of silverware. But I generally like to pick up items. What really appeals to me about silverware is easy to list, easy to picture, easy to store, and you can get a lot of listings out of one giant bag. Um, Not that I really like silverware at all, but, I tend to buy items that I like, that appeal to me, and this is something that was cool and appealed to me as well too. So pretty cool. Keep your eye out for it. All right, that's it. That's the What Sold. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And like I said, the next What Sold video will be on Thursday. I will be on location, at the Rose Garden. I'll probably film that tomorrow, maybe. Tomorrow or Wednesday. I'll get out there and I'll film that. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
Hey, you've made it to the end. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this content, please like the video by hitting the thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel by hitting my little round icon down below. It really does help us out here. Also, you'll find a couple of selections. You'll see a playlist of videos to watch and my most recent video that I did upload.